This is Olympic athlete Russ Hodge, and this is Dr. Kirsch, Daniel Kirsch, who's invented this little machine to make him quit hurting. That's right. He's working out every day, all sorts of pain he's going through, along with 22 other million Americans. And the doctor says that these instruments may well be the way in which in the future, instead of taking an aspirin or something like this, you'll go down, you'll use these instruments, and you'll quit hurting. We'll find all about this on the next show. Be sure you join me then.
Up till now, we used mostly drugs, but now there's something called TENS, transcutaneous electric neurostimulators. It uses electrical current to stimulate the body's own endorphin system, which helps counteract the pain. Here's Chantal Westerman with this great breakthrough.
Pain, good old pain. We're all familiar with it. That sharp pain you get right there in the back of your neck, or the dull throbbing variety that slowly creeps into the temple area. Oh yes, it comes in lots of varieties. In fact, it's the most common complaint heard by doctors today. 10% of Americans suffer from chronic back pain alone, and billions of dollars are spent each year on pain-relieving drugs, many of which have harmful side effects. But there is a new treatment, a new development in the treatment of pain relief, and it's not a drug. In fact, they don't think it has any harmful side effects, and you can use it at home. This great idea is called TENS, and it stands for, are you ready for this? Transcutaneous Electrical Nerve Stimulator. And this new device actually uses electricity to control your pain. Traditionally, doctors have treated pain only as a symptom of disease. But within the last few years, a new medical specialty has developed called the science of pain, which claims that chronic pain is a disease in and of itself. But how can you tell one kind of pain from another? Well, acute pain, which is the early warning signs of a disease, is both curable and short-lived, while chronic pain lingers on long after the reason it began has been treated. And this is when pain becomes a disease. And it's this chronic pain that TENS can help relieve.
I have the shingles. Now, shingles will go away if you get it in time. So the disease had gone so far that it settled in my side with what is known as chronic neuralgia, and it is hell to have. Can you imagine walking around with severe pain all day long? When I came here for this, it was very, very painful, very, very painful. So I've been able to have a much more normal life, but the best thing about it is that the cure that he has given me, and this Alpha, seems to be permanent. Now, I've taken a hell of a lot of pain pills. I've taken so many pain pills, it's a pain to pay the money I have to pay for some of them. But those are only temporary. And when I have something like this, I want something permanent, and I think I'm on the right road.
For millions of Americans who suffer from back pain, joint pain, and common ailments like migraine headaches, what TENS offers them is a new lease on life. Dr. Daniel Kirsch, a neurobiologist, designed the Alpha-Stim 2000 device and the home version, the Alpha-Stim 350, in 1981. Now, since then, they are being used by doctors all over the country to offer relief to chronic pain sufferers.
It's one of the oldest methods of healing there is. At the turn of the century, Sears Roebuck catalogs would sell electric belts, common sense treatment for the weak man, cure anything from impotency to cancer. And eventually, when the Flexner report was published in 1910, which sort of cleaned up medicine, electrical stimulation fell into disrepute because we didn't understand how it worked at that time.
Doctors aren't quite sure why TENS works, but two of the popular theories are that this electrical current blocks out the pain signals from reaching the brain, thus eliminating pain, or that the electricity triggers the endorphin response, or the body's natural pain-killing substance, to be produced in the brain. In any case, the result of a TENS treatment is instant relief from pain. It may last only minutes or hours, but in many cases it appears to be permanent. In some cases, only one treatment is needed for complete relief.
We are doing a great deal of research to find out some of the other things that the Alpha-Stim can do. We're doing a lot of it at Veterans Administration Hospital in Cleveland. Cancer pain's been treated there successfully, even in patients that didn't respond to morphine. So what we're learning is how far can we go?
my thumb and my middle finger started to get stiff. So then I waited out. I went to the doctor in January, an orthopedic doctor, and he gave me a cortisone shot. He said I had inflamed tendons. He said if it came back again, I would have to have surgery, and that's when I said, no surgery. With the use of the Alpha-Stim, I have 90% use of my thumb now, and I'll say my middle finger too, 50%, which is, you know, way better than before. And now I can open the car door, can even hold a clothespin to hang my clothes.
They've had pain for 20 years. They've tried everything. They've been through 3 or 5 operations and a few treatments, and their pain is under control. And that's very rewarding.
The process itself is really quite simple. These are what we call electrodes, and they're placed on the part of the body which is in pain. A small electrical current is then directed through the body to the patient's nerves. Now, they say that it doesn't hurt a bit. In fact, you can barely feel it. The current is administered for 6 to 8 seconds, and the entire treatment, including the physician's evaluation, only takes about 15 minutes. One of the many medical doctors who uses the TENS devices for pain relief is Dr. David Wong, who practices in Santa Monica, California. Dr. Wong has used this method for the past year and feels it is one of the most exciting new developments in the medical field.
And I find that the Alpha-Stim is a drugless way of treating pain.
Does it worry you or your patients that you don't know exactly how it works?
No, I think that we do know how it works, but not perhaps exactly. Okay, just like electricity, you know, you turn on the switch, you see it works, but yet so many of us don't understand it.
Okay. The future of electronic medicine is where science fiction becomes reality. We can currently regenerate limbs in laboratory animals. We can mend human bones. In the future, probably we can apply those current research applications to clinical medicine and mend parts of the body. We can control pain a great deal better. In fact, I think that different applications of yet to be discovered electrical devices will replace drugs one by one for all the functions that drugs have now.
We have all suffered aches and pains throughout our lives. We tolerate pain, but that doesn't mean we've ever liked it. And now, thanks to the Alpha-Stim, it may be possible to painlessly eliminate pain.
This is Russ Hodge, world record holder in the decathlon 20 years ago. Hodge still holds records in the decathlon for the shot put and 100 meters and displays some of that athletic talent in video here from the 1971 Russian-American track competition. Today, at 44, Russ Hodge is once again in training for the 1984 Olympics.
I'm training myself for the 1984 Olympics, and I train 4 to 6 hours a day, and I'm under a tremendous amount of stress and pain.
But with the increased training capabilities offered by electromedicine, Hodge says he's in better shape now than he was 20 years ago. 2 years ago, he started using the Alpha-Stim 2000. So sold is he on the benefits of the device and its portable version, he's endorsing the Alpha-Stim publicly.
I would use cortisone, anytime a pain pill, codeine, aspirin. I use de-inflammatories. I would use 50 different medications over the years, and plus 3 knee operations I've had. Now, because of the use of this equipment, I probably use 10% of the medication I used before.
The Alpha-Stim uses microamperes of electricity to locate areas of pain in the body. Areas of pain produce higher than normal electrical readings. That, in turn, helps the Alpha-Stim operator locate the pain area. Once identified, that area can be treated with up to 500 microamperes for 6 seconds to 2 minutes.
It was like something was crawling under my skin. And then it started to burn all over my body, my mouth and my throat.
Pain. For most of us, it's just a passing state. But for some, the pain never stops. These people have to cope with the fact that they may never know a day without pain for the rest of their lives. There are 15 million people in the United States who suffer chronic pain like arthritis. Another 50 million have periodic pain, like migraine headaches. The Alpha-Stim blocks pain by electrically stimulating the nerves.
What I'm really doing is following the pain pathway.
Dr. Carl Eulis is a UCLA staff physician who does not see private patients. He uses the Alpha-Stim to treat a variety of disorders, including post-operative hip pain. The beeping sound pinpoints the location of the pain and the amount of electrical current needed to reduce it.
What I would like for you to do is get up, walk, and give me an idea of how much pain you have. I also want to look at how you're walking, see if I've changed your mechanics of walking. Microscopic amounts of current can cause pain relief. The beauty of this technique is that the patient does not feel anything, but yet it's very rapid and it's very quick. Is it possible for you to just put all your weight on your left leg alone? I see, very good.
Let me go to a little higher frequency to get at this point.
Dr. David Wong uses the Alpha-Stim as part of a program to treat arthritis pain.
That took it well.
It hurts. No kidding about it. It hurts when I put it in there.
The Alpha-Stim does not work for everyone. Some patients respond to this treatment, some don't. Russ Hodge is a believer. He's training for the '84 Olympics. At age 43, he hopes to compete in the most grueling event of all, the decathlon. Dr. Harold Ravens, a dentist, is giving Russ electrical stimulation to his jaw. Since starting these treatments, Russ says his athletic performance has improved.
After a hard day of training for 4 or 5 hours, you develop a tremendous amount of stress and tension. And by having these treatments, it relieves the tension, which in turn relieves the pain.
After having surgery on his neck, Jim Bush, coach of the UCLA track team, turned to the Alpha-Stim 350. With his wife's help, he uses this portable unit to ease his acute pain.
I went through about 10 weeks of extreme nerve damage pain that nothing would help. And I will honestly say, this is the only thing that saved me from going through that ceiling at night.
It seems to be a whole lot better. You know?
Fine, I had no pain at all, and I couldn't do that before.
It, to me, is a miracle.
It's clear there's a revolution going on in the way we treat pain. These techniques are so new that many people are still skeptical. But we do know these treatments have helped some patients. And maybe, just maybe, these are the first steps toward a pain-free world.
Amazing. And there's more to come in that field. We'll keep you posted.
Joining us now is Dr. Daniel Kirsch, who has created a new machine called the Alpha-Stim 2000, a pain-relieving machine. Good morning. Well, we have a terrific cameraman named Al Rush who has been in pain, his shoulder and his back area here, and he has volunteered to take off his shirt and join us and see if your machine can relieve some of his pain. So, Al Rush, would you come on out here? Eat your heart out, Rocky. Welcome, Al.
My stomach in.
Now, where are you going to put the microphone?
That's the problem. Now, why don't you hook up, Al, and see how this whole machine works.
There we go. That's a reading. I'm making contact. I just press the button.
So the current's going through.
And the current's going through. This emits electrical signal that's about 200,000 times less than is required to light a 60-watt household bulb. And, well, that was 12 seconds. Let's see if there's any change.
As a matter of fact, there is.
Okay, if you had $1 worth of pain when we began, how many cents do you have left?
I can still feel it slightly as I go through, but it's really not as bad.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Thank you very much. Terrific machine.
Gold medal and makes Olympic team.
See if you can predict where your weak spots are.
I know where they are.
Where?
Between my ears.
No.
Well, we have
That's just water. That'll go away if you shake your head.
My knees and shoulders.
Shoulders
area.
All right.
Chronic problem.
Explain to us what you're going to do.
All right. Russ has a home unit. We're going to put the other one on his other shoulder to kind of get some electrical stimulation to diminish pain in the shoulders.
You're the doctor.
Okay. What I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and analyze him electrically and see. This has been...
He squeaks.
It squeaks. It's sort of like E.T. Some people have been describing it that way. And what I'm going to do is scan here and then take readings and find out where he's low. If he's low, I'm going to go ahead and charge him up a little bit.
Oh, I heard a low.
Okay.
Right there.
That's true.
That's low.
Okay, he's getting therapy right now. Actually, the interesting thing about the instrument is this instrument is reading the body, putting a signal into the body, and then the signal is coming back. So we're getting information as to what's happened after the signal went through. In a sense, once you're getting treatment going, the instrument and the person become in harmony. That what's going in is coming out, is being read and adjusted. So finally, the instrument and the person become more and one and the same.
Is that just the volume?
Well, this is the volume of the signal saying... Now
Can you turn it up?
No, yeah, we can turn it up.
Sounds like an ambulance.
We can also change the frequency. But we find that low frequency is actually more effective and more beneficial, more therapeutic.
What are you feeling?
Good. Relax, mental acuteness.
That's great.
We don't have 5 minutes, though.
No. Our thanks to Dr. Carlos Eulis from UCLA. Sports medicine is your specialty.
Right, and electrical medicine.
Right. Thank you very much. And to Russ Hodge, thank you. We'll be rooting for you, Russ.
Joints will move easier. Their hands will move more freely. I think in a few years we'll be able to go a little bit beyond that and perhaps learn the signals, that electrical signals that trigger the process of arthritis. If we learn those electrical signals, then how do we modify them by applying electrical currents from outside the body to influence the internal currents?
What about a major killer like cancer?
Well, there have been experiments done, certainly in animals and hamsters that have tumors that grow, and there have been experiments shown that by using certain kinds of electrical input, specified certain quantities of electrical input, tumors can be slowed down in animals and hamsters. Certainly, we've had some experience with instrumentation that I'm working with right now in dealing with cancer pain. We've had some people with really terrible, terrible excruciating pain who are on high doses of morphine. One of our researchers, Dr. Bauer in Cleveland, had several cases that he's reporting in the journals where he was able to get people off morphine by treating through the area of pain. It's really remarkable.
To this point, it is a painkiller.
Well, it's one of the mechanisms of how it works is to alleviate pain.
You work a lot with the big athletes.
Yes.
What kind of problems do they come?
All athletes are in pain all the time. If you work and train hard, you are in pain. Otherwise, you're not working hard enough.
Right, they're like dancers, show dancers.
Absolutely. It's very, very intense. If you're really dedicated, you're working very hard, and you're in pain. Our philosophy, and Dr. Ravens, who I've been working with, is to electrically tune up athletes. Preventatively, if they have injuries, through the instrumentation that we've been working with, you can also look at problems before maybe they may show up. We're looking at electrically, how does the body function as an electrical unit? How can we correct it by using really very weak currents? Currents which are so small, they require 50 millionths that amount of power to light a light bulb. It's that small.
So it isn't anything like the shock treatment?
Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with shock. We're talking about 50 millionths of the power to light a light bulb. It has nothing to do with electric
shock. So in the treatment, the patient
you don't feel it. Most of the time, you don't feel anything at all.
Well, your office, you must be a Monday morning quarterback. You know, all those linebackers sitting in there on Monday morning after the big game, huh? Saying, get rid of the pain.
Right, absolutely.
And you can honestly do something about it.
You can do something about it.
Now, is there a machine involved?
There's an instrument.
Nothing that we could.
I like to use the word instrument.
Instrument.
Yes. Alpha-Stim 2000, and there's a home unit called the Alpha-Stim 350, which people, through a prescription...
People are using it at home.
People can, your doctor would have to write your prescription. You can take it home. The doctor would then prescribe where to put the electrodes, how to use it. And it's very powerful.
Who would use it? People with arthritis?
People with pain, arthritis. And one of the components of the instrument is a concept we're working with. It's called transcranial electrotherapy. Also, by passing small amounts of current through the skull into the brain, you can decrease tension, get people to relax, thereby decreasing the whole stress syndrome associated with pain. When you've got pain, you're uptight. By transcranial electrical therapy, you relax and the pain subsides to some degree. So it's an adjunct to pain therapy.
So electromedicine is certainly going to be in our future.
No question about it. I think the future doctors are going to be well-grounded in biomedical engineering. The doctor of the future will be writing prescriptions saying, First, they're going to have their patients coming in for an electrical diagnosis to see what's wrong with their electrical signals in the body. Is it absent? Is it abnormal? And they're going to start correcting these signals. And they're going to be writing prescriptions instead of like one antibiotic every 4 or 6 hours. They're going to say, I want you to use a specified instrument in a specified waveform, a specified intensity, and a specified frequency. This is the medicine of the future.
We really are moving into a high-tech
No question about it.
time, right? Okay, we're going to stay here in a minute. Russ Hodge, the Olympic athlete, will join us. Joining us right now is a middle-aged man with a remarkable... Well, you are. You got to face it, Russ. He's just 16 years old. No. But a remarkable story. He competed in the 1964 Olympics, and with the help of these new advances in electromedicine, he's going to do it again in the 1984 Games. Would you welcome Russ Hodge? Yay, Russ.
Thank you.
I got a shock, Doctor. You are a record holder, Russ. 2.
Oh, in individual decathlon records, I still hold 2 records in 100 meters and the shot put.
Have you got a chance in 84?
Slim.
Well, that's not a very positive
Well, I
attitude.
think that's better than
Give him
none.
a shot, Doctor, right away.
Well, it's a lot better than none, isn't it?
It sort of looks like the Frankenstein monster wasn't too far off, was it?
Frankenstein monster.
Well, with those things attached all over your neck here and everything. This is the home unit.
Yes.
This is the doctor's unit. That's the Alpha-Stim 2000 here. What are you going to do now, Doctor?
I would like to analyze Russ electrically, see if he's got any electrically weak spots that need charging up and diminishes pain, diminishes inflammation, and make sure that he wins a gold medal and makes the Olympic team.
See if you can predict where your weak spots are.
I know where they are.
Where?
Between my ears.
No.
Well, we have
That's just water. That'll go away if you shake your head.
My knees and shoulders.
Knees and shoulders.
Shoulders area.
All right.
Chronic problem.
Explain to us what you're going to do here.
All right. Russ has a home unit. We're going to put the other one on his other shoulder to kind of get some electrical stimulation to diminish pain in the shoulders.
You're the doctor.
Okay. What I'm going to do at this point is go ahead and analyze him electrically and see. This has been...
He squeaks.
It squeaks. It's sort of like E.T. Some people have been describing it that way. And what I'm going to do is scan here and then take readings and find out where he's low. If he's low, I'm going to go ahead and charge him up a little bit.
Oh, I heard a low.
Okay.
Right there.
It's true.
That's low.
Okay, he's getting therapy right now. Actually, the interesting thing about the instrument is this instrument is reading the body, putting a signal into the body, and then the signal is coming back. So we're getting information as to what's happened after the signal went through. In a sense, once you're getting treatment going, the instrument and the person become in harmony. That what's going in is coming out, is being read and adjusted. So finally, the instrument and the person become more and one and the same.
Is that just the volume?
Well, this is the volume of the signal saying... Now
Can you turn it up?
No, yeah, we can turn it up.
Sounds like an ambulance.
We can also change the frequency. But we find that low frequency is actually more effective and more beneficial, more therapeutic.
What are you feeling?
Good. Relax. Mental acuteness.
That's great.
We don't have 5 minutes, though.
No. Our thanks to Dr. Carlos Eulis from UCLA. Sports medicine is your specialty.
Right, and electrical medicine.
Right. Thank you very much. And to Russ Hodge, thank you. We'll be rooting for you, Russ.
Still ahead on Action 4 tonight.
New device to relieve pain. Stay with us.
How many times have you wished you could make a nagging backache or headache disappear? Well, Sherry Sellers attended a seminar today showing a machine that claims to do just that.
That sound is signaling that electric current is going through your body. It's the whole idea behind the Alpha-Stim system. The machine sends an electronic nerve stimulation that can supposedly relieve anything from arthritis to everyday tension. Today's representatives called it an alternative to drugs and surgery for chronic aches and pains. This showing at the Sheraton Century Center had 2 goals. One, to prove to the curious that it worked. The other, to just get the word out that such a machine is available.
This TENS field, which has been in existence for thousands of years and is now most recently in the last 50 seen a lot of development, is moving beyond just pain blocking. It's now analysis of the injury, treatment, accelerated healing, and the field's ready to be taken a serious look at.
The Alpha-Stim system is being used in some hospitals across the nation, even in some homes, since a smaller machine is now available on a prescription basis. Sherry Sellers, Action 4 at the Sheraton Century Center.
Jerry, I'm going to get one for my broken leg.
Here's a word that I know you know only too well. It's the word ouch. It means pain, right? And pain is a constant part of our lives. We hurt from backaches, headaches, pulled muscles, stubbed toes. Well, today we're going to help you to get a handle on the aches and pains in your life. So, stay there. Very glad you joined us today. We're talking about pain. Let me tell you some facts about pain. 22 million Americans, that's almost 10% of us, suffer from chronic pain, and we spend, if you can believe this, between $50 and $60 billion a year trying to get rid of our pain. Well, a man has joined us today who's helping a lot of people get rid of their pain, Dr. Daniel Kirsch. He's the president of Electromedical Products, and I'm very glad you joined me.
Thank you.
What, 22 million folks, that's a lot of people who are hurting, am I right?
Yes, the average chronic pain patient has undergone 5 to 7 major operations, spent $50,000 to $100,000 in doctor's bills.
Now, when you talk about chronic, are you saying these people hurt all the time?
Yes.
It never gets relief.
Well, it comes and goes.
Okay.
Sometimes it gets worse, sometimes it gets better, but generally chronic pain means that the pain's around.
Are they hurting from the same thing? I mean, like if it's a backache, is it always a backache, or does the person have a backache? Do they start getting other pains? You know what I'm saying?
Well, unfortunately, there's no immunity against pain. Once you have one pain, doesn't mean that you're not going to have another pain.
I know about the chronic thing. I mean, are you saying like it is a chronic back pain, a chronic headache? Or...
Headaches, back pain, joint pains often become chronic and long-lasting. Conditions like arthritis would cause pain to persist for life.
Do you know what pain actually is?
Yeah, we can break it down to, as we talk about, acute and chronic pain. The simplest definition, acute pain is very useful. It's something that we must have, and it's
so
an
you
alarm
know if
signal.
something's wrong, right?
Yes, it tells us that something's wrong. Whereas chronic pain is now considered a disease in itself. And in many cases, we can't find the cause of the pain. And 50 years ago, a doctor might call that hysterical, call the patient hysterical.
Is it?
No, today we call it idiopathic, which means we do not know the cause of the pain.
But there is something there that's causing it.
Yeah, it's a functional disturbance usually, and some sort of problem that we can't detect.
People aren't just psyching themselves out, are they? I mean, that's not...
People can psych themselves out. That's possible.
To get pain?
To get pain and to contribute to the pain. The mind plays an important role.
When you're dealing with something where a person would be just psyching themselves out, a psychosomatic thing, would you relieve the pain the same way that you relieve pain which is caused by a back that was out of order or whatever? You know, is it the same relief process?
Yes, once it's psychosomatic, that means it comes from the mind into the soma in the body. And once it's into the body, if you have an ulcer from stress, psychosomatically caused, you still have an ulcer, and it has to be treated.
What works to get rid of pain?
Long-term management of chronic pain, drugs and surgery have notoriously proven ineffective. And what we're looking at there are the new alternative therapies, such as biofeedback, perhaps acupuncture.
Are you finding these to be even more successful than the old
Absolutely.
ways? Much more successful?
Yes, much more.
That's neat.
There are some good drug interventions. Some chronic pain patients are better controlled by anxiety drugs, anti-anxiety drugs, than by analgesic pain-relieving drugs. But the chronic pain patient should rely on a program where they learn to control the pain as well as therapeutic intervention. My opinion is the best method is electrical stimulation.
Which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, right?
Yes.
He's got a little machine with him today, which you're not going to believe.
We just press the button. Generally, we wait 6 seconds patiently, and at the end of the treatment,
now what's actually happening here?
It'll tell us. Well, now it tells us I'm finished.
Are little electrodes going in there or something?
A little bit of electricity. about 50 millionths the amount it takes to light a light bulb. A very small amount of
It's
electricity.
actually going into his arm.
Yes. Did you feel anything?
No, it's a lot better.
Is it better?
Yes.
Is it really? Now, so what you're doing is, you're just blocking the pain. The pain he normally has, you're blocking it, keep you from getting to the brain. Is that right?
Well, it works on several mechanisms. You're stimulating some nerves to block other nerves, and probably releasing endorphins, which are morphine-like substances made in the brain.
Is there a most common pain that people have, the one big pain which...
Back pain.
Back pain?
#1 industrial disabler.
This does work on back pain.
Yes, well...
I know that as a fact. We did that on my back a while ago, and it really, I hurt myself riding a little bit this weekend, and it felt great. I was amazed.
Yes.
I mean, I thought, what could this thing possibly do? And I was bending over and doing things which I couldn't do before.
We didn't have a lot of time on you. We spent, what...
If we had more time, I'd felt better.
Yeah, we spent about 30 seconds on you.
I got to get out of here. I don't have more time left at all. Thank you very much for being here, Doctor. Thank you for being here. And thank you for your machine. And thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
I wish I had a headache so that I could make it go away, or at least so Russ Hodge could make it go away for me. You say this could get rid of a headache or pain?
Any kind of a particular pain you might have, chronic pain or acute pain that you might have from an injury. It relieves your pain and stress.
How does it work?
Well, for example, you have a sore wrist, okay? I would treat it, particularly I would treat it with the logic probes, finding a particular area that is sensitive, okay? After I found that area, I would treat it.
Now, I would tell you it's sensitive. I would say it's hurting, or how would you know whether it was sensitive?
I could tell from the logic probes that if it was sensitive from the meter reading. See, I would have a high or low meter reading. And then when I find a low meter reading, I would treat you.
And it's got this little beep, 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 beep. What is that saying? That's the treatment?
That's a treatment. And the other tone that we don't hear is there.
What does that mean?
That's the tone I'm trying to say. That's where you need to treat. See? Right there. Then I would treat it.
This sounds pretty weird, Russ.
It does. Scary.
This is an instrument called Alpha-Stim 2000. And believe it or not, it's recommended by doctors. It seems kind of ultra-worldy, a very strange phenomena, but that does have medical backing, I understand.
Well, in fact, you've been using electrical treatments since 50 AD, I think, was the first time that they've used electrical stimulus for, remember they're using eels, electric eels, things like that, or electrical treatments. They've been using it for thousands of years.
Russ Hodge still holds 2 world records in the decathlon, the shot put
and 100 meters.
And 100 meters. And he's training for the 1984 Olympics with the aid of Alpha-Stim 2000. Let's see. You won your first world record breaking in 64, 66?
Well, I was in the 1964 Olympics, and I broke a world record in the Coliseum in Los Angeles in 1966.
And there you are in one of the events.
That's
you're,
a long jump.
You're still at it after all this time.
After all this time, I never give up. Yeah. In fact, how I got involved with the pain reduction and stress reduction, my best event was always injuries. I was out of 2 Olympic Games in 1968 and 72 because of injuries. And I was in the 64, like I said, but so I've had a difficult time. And now, at my age, at 44 now, training, it makes it even more difficult. And by having an instrument like this, it allows me to train better on a day-to-day basis. For example, I train 6 hours a day, 4 to 6 hours a day. At the end of the day, you can imagine the pain and stress that I have. It's under normal situations, if I was in my 20s, it would be difficult enough. But at my age, I have a lot of chronic pain, a lot of injuries that I've had over the years, and also acute pain from injuries that I've received in my day-to-day training. And what the machine does, when I come home after practice, I will treat myself. It will get rid of that pain, which in turn gets rid of the stress and also enables me to come back the next day to my day-to-day training. And that's the most critical with any athlete, training from day-to-day basis so you can build on your training.
So this works on electrical impulses. How exactly?
Well, it works on millicurrents or microcurrents. It's 1/1,000,000th of an ampere. It's like 200,000 times less than a light bulb, a 200-watt light bulb.
What do all the knobs mean or indicate?
Well, the knobs mean they have this, you have two types of modalities, which would be a standard galvanic, a pulsating electrical stimulus, which most people are much more aware of. And then you have a modality A, which works on microcurrents, which is 1/1,000,000th of a current.
What does all of this mean?
Okay, it has to do with electricity that is in your body. Your body has its own electricity. Okay, and when you have an injury, an acute injury or a traumatic injury that you have, around that particular injured area, there's an electrical stimulus, either more or less. The conductivity of that particular area either more or less. Okay, and that's how you treat this. These things are so sensitive, you can pick up the differential between a normal condition of your body, and then if you have a pathological problem with a particular area or a acute bruise or something like that, there's a difference in the stimulus, electrical stimulus. That's how you know from the logic probes if you'll treat a particular area. Then you'll induce a microcurrent into that particular area, and that will
Is that what you were doing before?
That's what I was doing. There was electricity going. You didn't feel a thing, did you?
No.
And what it does, it blocks the nerve pathways, and it helps create a relief of pain.
So it stops the pain by blocking the nerve pathway?
Nerve pathways.
Okay. Now, does it then not follow that when you stop doing that, the pain comes back?
If it's a chronic pain, it would come back. But if it was an acute pain that you received, for example, if you twisted an ankle, over a period of time, that's going to get better. So you treat it with this, and each time you treat it, we use a scale of 10. And you say, okay, the pain is an 8. Okay, after you treat it, it might be a 4. Next day to come back, it might be a 4, and you treat it again, it might be a 2. So that's how you treat it, and you can get rid of the pain much easier.
What does the AMA say about this?
Well, it wouldn't be on the market if the AMA or FDA, which is more important, they have set up the guidelines. And historically, there's been a lot of claims made on all types of electrical stimulus or anything, any particular thing. You could take a pill and it's a cure-all. There's not any panacea, but there's enough evidence. And as far as the electrical TENS unit, these are basically a TENS unit.
Now, TENS means?
Transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulator.
So this is not a brand new idea. Those TENS units have been around for a while.
This is not a brand new idea. It's just much more sophisticated and working with the with the microcurrents.
Does it have to be administered by a doctor?
This particular machine has to be administered by a doctor. There's a smaller unit over here, the
right here.
Alpha-Stim 350, which is a home unit, and you have to have a doctor's prescription. But what you would do is go to the doctor, and you would be treated with the logic probes, and we'll find out what particular area you have of injury, and then you could take this home and treat this particular injury. If you have a back injury, a chronic back injury, which a lot of people do, you could treat it.
Russ, you work with it mainly as it relates to sports and sports injuries. What else is it good for? Like I said at the beginning, could it cure a headache?
It could cure any most types of pains. Headaches included, migraines, all different types of pain some pains it doesn't, just like anything else. But what I've found, which is interesting, in my basic training as an athlete, I would take pain pills, cortisone, sleeping pills, all sorts of different types of operations. I've had 3 knee operations. What it does with this, in the last 2 or 3 years of using this machine, I've cut down my use of medication down to about 10% of what I used to before, it's great.
Are most doctors aware of it if somebody wants to go to the doctor and say, I want this little home unit for, what, $5,000?
Well, the home unit is about $1,000.
$1,000.
The big unit's about $6,000.
A real investment. Will the doctor know what they're talking about?
Generally today, the doctors would know what you're talking about. And as far as an investment is concerned, there's 10 or 12 million people in this country suffering from chronic pain.
Well, there's help out there, apparently. Ask your doctor for more information. And Russ, good luck on the '84 Olympics.
I'll need a lot of luck. Thank you.
Russ Hodge and Alpha-Stim 2000. Find out more about it.
We're going to talk about pain relief now through electromedicine. This machine, the Alpha-Stim 2000. Well, what brings you two guys together?
Well, Russ had an interesting background. He is one of the first athletes 20 years ago to initiate a weight training program in the United States. In fact, most of the major universities have all their athletes, whether they're in swimming, tennis, or football, into weight training. So bodybuilding has been a major interest in Russ's background. But Russ came to me because he was suffering from jaw problems and from neck problems. And Russ can tell you the rest on that one.
Okay, so what was the problem precisely?
Well, I have had a lot of headaches and a lot of problems down through my neck where I have I couldn't move very well, and my mobility was impaired by because of these headaches and the pain in my neck.
Sure. So you went to doctor, and we talked about this machine. Now, this is a relatively new situation, isn't it?
Well, the concept is not brand new. It's the abbreviation is called TENS, and it's been used in the medical profession for the last 10, 15 years. However, we have to redesign the instrument with some new type of approaches whereupon we can analyze as well as treat pain problems.
All right, but you can't prevent any pain.
No.
All right, well, let's see what you would do then. He came to you with a neck and a jaw problem. How would you treat him?
One of the first things we would do is to place the probes on the area of concern, and by the quality of the sound, as well as on the meter, we can determine where the pain area is.
Well, that was a very sharp sound.
That means that there's good contact. Basically, we approach a person like a living battery. And if you have a weak battery, you take it to the garage to find out where you're at.
Okay.
Well, our instrument has a capability of measuring the electrical potential of a person. And in this area here, which is the jaw, we have a dial that we can use to evaluate the amount of energy needed to get that sound, which is extremely helpful in analyzing. In other words,
what has that got to do with relieving the pain?
Okay, because if you know how much is needed and what quality is needed, you then can treat, as like what I will do now. Like for 6 seconds, I will now give him a microscopic amount of energy that will reduce his area of concern, either it be muscle spasm or it could be pain that he's getting from a specific problem.
Will it reduce the recovery time, too? The time necessary for him to recover from that injury?
Yes, it will. Russ can tell you how his experience has been and how he works out.
I would say one of the most critical things as far as an athlete is injuries. And if you can prevent or heal an injury quicker, you use any, this, and I think it probably improves the healing and decreases the pain considerably.
Well, what about your neck and jaw problem? Healed?
Well, I have somewhat chronic problems because I'm training 5-6 hours a day, so I always have pain and thing, but it helps me recover from day to day, and that's the most critical thing, being able to train from one day to the next.
The UCLA athletic teams have purchased this.
Right. We had an intensive program last year with the track athletes, and we were able to show by providing the athlete a stronger training program during the week that by having the psychological advantage, knowing that he will not be injured for his competition on the weekend, he could train harder. So I felt that the training that he did during the week was actually winning the weekend competition.
Right.
So it's been very effective in not only the aspect of locating the source of pain, but also treating it.
Great. So are you in shape now?
I'm getting there, about 80%.
Gee, it'd be wonderful if you could be America's decathlon.
It'd be great for me, yes.
Yeah, 45 years old, big Russ, and you with the pain machine on the sidelines, It's going to be absolutely terrific. Can I try to just watch you put it on my jaw? I want to see what it's like.
Okay. We'll give
Don't hurt me.
Oh, my gosh. He's almost dead. Let me see that.
I don't feel a thing. I really don't feel a thing. Making pretty music, though.
There you go. You just got a charge.
Did I really?
Yes.
You could tell by the intensity
Well, we
of the
have a
sound.
light here that tells you how it goes up. See, there's a light that tells us. It's called a logic probe, and that tells us exactly what it.
Sophisticated piece of equipment, no doubt about it.
We call it a computerized circuit, and the amount of energy needed to use this is about 1/1,000,000th needed to light a light bulb. So it's almost microscopic.
Is that right? Another brand new innovation in the medical field. Thank you very much, Dr.
It's a pleasure.
Regis, for being
Thank you.
Russ, I'm going to be remembering that name and following you. Good luck to you, okay? Take it easy, Russ. I think I'll punch Russ out during this commercial.
Welcome to Ask Your Doctor. I'm Dr. David Cundiff, and today we're talking about back pain with Dr. Richard Zippolone. You have here an impressive-looking device. I wonder if you'd tell us about the Alpha-Stim and electromedicine.
Okay, well, electromedicine had a very early start, 46 AD, by Sir Conius Larcus, who used an electrical eel called a torpedo ray. He would actually put a foot in a bucket and bang the bucket, and the eel would bite the person and therefore numb them. It was used for gout and headaches.
You'd forget the pain of the gout and the headache.
Right, from the bite on the foot.
Also for psychoses, electroconvulsive therapy, I guess.
Then they found in about 1965 a very good gate theory on how pain is caused, and about that time they developed microamp generators, which the Alpha-Stim is one of the first to have this microamp generator. Alpha-Stim is produced by electrical products, electromedical products, right here in California. And it has two sides. The B side has two TENS units, which is the regular modality used in most doctors' offices.
Transcutaneous nerve
stimulation, right. And you can confuse the nervous system so that it does not send the pain signals to the brain. The pain is still there, which is why you have to do an examination to determine if you can turn the pain off. Is the pain there because there is something in the spine or in the body that's going on, and should it be further looked into? Or can we turn it off? And if we can, then we try to do it that way. Then we have the A side, which is the millionths of an amp, which the body runs on millionths of an amp. And this side, we cause a healing reaction to start. What is theorized is happening is the millionths of an amp is instituted into the body part that is damaged or painful, and lymphocytes and macrophages, which are the little wee beasties within the body, our cells, go around and eat the dead material, or the necrotic material, therefore causing a healing reaction. And when that happens, a lot of time pain is relieved. Sometimes on one application, most often it takes a series of treatments to keep the healing process going. It measures the conductance of electrical energy in muscle, bone, or what have you. And we do this.
Maybe you can just show it on my wrist, what is an actual treatment like.
Okay.
And this is used in conjunction with everything else to do with back pain.
This instrument does 9 different functions, one of which is bioconductivity, which is a trademark of the instrument itself. It has an audio portion, which I'll turn up, and you can check the conductivity of tissue. This shows that there is high conductivity, a high-pitched sound, and a low-pitched sound or a lower-pitched sound would be the less conductance. So we can check the doctor's conductance. He has very high conductance. And we can turn down the amplitude. And we usually calibrate to around 40, and that's the sound of about 40 microamps. And then we can institute microamps into the system for 6 seconds. All right, now we check again, and you can tell that it's a lot higher amplitude now. And well, this reads up to 100, but that's peaked way over 100. Let me turn it down. And you can see it's still pretty high, even though we turned it down. So what we've done is we've charged your body up like a battery.
I see. I felt absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all.
That, except the little surface electrodes.
All you'll feel here is relief.
Mm-hmm. Well, I almost wish my wrist hurt and it would have felt better.
We've had very good response on pain conditions with this, and we're looking forward to using it on a lot more sprains and strains and tears of ligaments. Mm-hmm. And research is going on this now every day.
So we're learning a lot about the newer application. I wonder if I might just show you my device.
Right.
Which is called the Patent Magneto. And it's the improved device for nervous diseases that my wife bought in an antique store about 10 or 15 years ago. And just to show you, there's nothing new under the sun. This is also an electromedical device that's got a magnet and then some copper wire around a circle, and then a crank to generate the electricity. And maybe we can have you hold both hands there. I'll promise not to electrocute you. And you can feel...
You can feel it right away.
You can feel probably a lot more electricity than the microwave.
Yes.
Yeah. These were popular before the turn of the century, and with the advent of more scientific medicine, they were cleaned up, and now they've just been reintroduced here in the last 15 or 20 years on a much more scientific basis.
Right.
There are a couple of other aspects about pain in the back that I think are important from a medical point of view. We want to make sure that we don't have a ruptured disc, which is found by seeing pain radiate into the legs, perhaps weakness in the legs or sensation loss.
Or loss of deep tendon reflexes, too.
Right, and this, in some extreme cases, can go to paralysis. The treatment, medical treatment, is with surgery, back surgery, disc type surgery. And there's a new treatment now with an injection of chymopapine, which is an enzyme that had been experimental for a long time to try to digest the ruptured disc. It's got some side effects. It's much more expensive than conventional conservative therapy, but less expensive and less painful than surgery.
Right.
The other things that we have in medicine, of course, are pain medicines and muscle relaxants. We like to stay away from long-term narcotic pain medicines and Valium or other muscle relaxants because they don't really work for a long term. They may work for short term. And so we try to keep the amount of medicine down in that situation and focus on having the patient do these other things: diet, exercise, and stress management. Perhaps these things, other things that we're talking about as well. Thank you very much for being with me on the program, and thank you also for being with us. And tune in again next week at the same time. We'll have another topic to do with health. Wishing you now the best of health.
Channel 9's Hank Plant has details about the wondrous new healing machine.
In the past, athletic injuries have had to be treated either with drugs, physical therapy, or by Mother Nature. But now people like Russ Hodges, an Olympic decathlon hopeful, are depending on something called electromedicine to treat their injuries and give them more energy. Raven says his machine can measure the energy in a person's body through the electrical impulses that we all have. That machine can also measure the energy levels of a particular injury, and it can promote healing by rebalancing those energy levels. So far, UCLA is impressed.
Well, I've used it on myself, and I find that you will get immediate pain relief, which is actually almost is like voodoo. But when part of the body is injured, there's a current set up in the body which signals the rest of the body that there is injury and you have to mobilize and get things healing. So with this machine, what you're able to, with this instrument, you're able to do is actually change that current of injury to even boost it up further to increase that signal for healing to take place. And by removing pain, you're also inducing the healing process.
UCLA track coach Jim Bush has seen a lot of sports medicine techniques come and go in his 18 years here.
I think I'd honestly have to say it's the best I've seen yet, and I have to go by what the athletes say. And when the athletes will tell me that it does reduce pain and they feel it heals an injury, that you get well a little bit sooner, then I have to believe them, and I can see for sure when they're out here running. And I've had athletes that had to leave the track during a workout. They couldn't complete their workout because something hurt so badly. And then I talked to the doctor that night and said, "Don't worry, coach, tomorrow you're going to see he'll be out there." And he's out there and he's competing. And it's not just for athletics, it's for anybody that has any kind of pain. I just asked the doctor, I said, "What do you do for a man my age who's up there in the middle 50s? I've got arthritis from here to here and it hurts all the time." He says, "It'll make you feel better."
Electromedicine may seem like something out of Buck Rogers, but its developers see a big future in it for treating all kinds of pain, both on and off the athletic field. at UCLA. This is Hank Plant, Channel 9 News.
La Tierra y su gente, un programa abierto a todos los pueblos del mundo. Arte, ciencia, costumbres, tradiciones, folclor y los más notables sucesos y hombres que han hecho la historia. Producción y presentación, Aurora Martínez.
Amigos, muy buenas noches. Una pregunta, este aparato también pudiera, una pregunta para el doctor Daniel Kirsch, pudiera tener también cualidades un poco de tranquilizante en el individuo, por ejemplo, para el sistema nervioso. Una persona, por ejemplo, que sufra de insomnio, una persona tensa, una persona angustiada, una persona en estrés, pudiera ser tratada también con este sistema.
Could the machine also produce some type of tranquilizing effect? For example, for a person afflicted with insomnia or stress, tension?
Sí.
Sí. Okay. The design for the circuitry actually comes not from pain control devices originally, but from stress control devices.
El diseño básico del aparato proviene no de diremos, prototipos de tratamiento de dolor, sino de prototipos de el alivio del stress.
Básicamente. El estrés puede también agudizar el dolor.
If stress can also worsen the pain.
Oh, yeah.
Definitivamente.
Una persona que viva en estrés, por ejemplo, las personas que vivimos en las grandes ciudades, que estamos sometidas a cambios bruscos de actividades y de diferentes tensiones laborales y emocionales, familiares, de comunicación, de todo tipo, que vivimos en medio de un estrés, estamos más propensas realmente a sufrir de dolores. Por ejemplo, ese tipo de dolor que es casi mágico, esos dolores que se sienten y que desaparecen y que no tienen realmente explicación, puede ser también derivado por el estrés.
Could us who live in, rather than in a suburban area, are we more propense to suffer of pain because of stress that is caused daily by work, communications, mass transit and the like? Could actually these pains that we sometimes feel they're magical because they come and go be induced because of this type of stress?
I don't think most pains are imaginary, first of all. Second of all, the urban life includes eating processed foods, driving on freeways, breathing bad air, having to try to get to places on time. All this is an incredible amount of stress, in addition to what we try to achieve in a normal day. Keep up with me.
Dice que él piensa primero que muy pocos dolores se imaginan, pero sin embargo que obviamente la vida dentro de un centro de una ciudad, manejando sobre las autopistas, comiendo las comidas enlatadas, tienen todos efectos negativos y que por lo tanto sí puede causar una propensidad al dolor.
You can have what's called affected pain, which means that the anxiety causes stress, shoulder tension, and muscle causes pain. Muscle tension causes pain.
Indica que hay un tipo de dolor, le dicen el dolor efectivo, bajo el cual el estrés causa un tipo de tensión en los músculos, normalmente uno lo siente en los hombros, en el cuello, y que obviamente... Sí.
Ahora, hay una pregunta que se me ocurre también hacer, ¿no? Y así lanzarla aunque no tenga respuesta. Yo me imagino que los grandes laboratorios fabricantes de fármacos estarán verdaderamente aterrorizados ante esta máquina, ¿no? Porque desde luego que va a ser sumamente más positivo aplicarse, por ejemplo, para uno tener un poco de calma ¿verdad?, al estrés con esta máquina que tomarse grandes dosis de tranquilizantes y eso desde luego yo creo, o calmantes para el dolor. Yo creo que entonces deben de ver con un poco de ojos de pánico esta máquina, ¿no?
She states that she wonders whether the great pharmaceutical producers are now fearing tremendously because of this machine, since the effects of this machine obviously don't produce any secondary effects and the like. There are no contraindications to it.
Está dispuesto a enfrentarse a todas esos avatares de lucha que le puede traer en ese aspecto el desarrollo en gran escala de este aparato. El Alpha-Stim 2000. ¿Ah?
Are you ready to confront this big battle in order to proceed with the development? Sí. Todos los días.
Todos los días.
We've started a long time ago.
Bueno, hay
Started
una
hace
cosa.
mucho tiempo.
Sí.
But they're also getting into our business now.
Pero también ellos están entrando en este campo.
Bueno, ya entrarán entonces, en vez de fabricar fármacos, fabricarán más aparaticos de esto, más chiquiticos.
Exacto.
Se irá haciendo más sofisticada la fabricación.
Ya existen.
¿Sí?